We are
Yes.
covering lowers round one.
So yeah, this is the first part of the tournament where someone will be eliminated.
Which is the game that we will be looking at primarily this round.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at Clossius, who we actually just watched, versus Tarios. So it's kind of fun. I guess we get back-to-back games with Clossius. We just, for those that were here, got to see such spirit from Clossius's play. I feel like, he pulled out some interesting strategy, even psychological type strategy, and I felt like he gave it his best shot and never really backed down. He maybe lost, but I loved his spirit. I did not get to watch Itarios' game, so I'm a little blind to what happened in his game. But yeah, it should be exciting.
Clossius chose uh, loyalty as his virtue, and Itarios, I think, chose justice. So one of those two is going out early. Uh, Loyalty versus justice. Which do you think is more important for a samurai?
Ooh, I feel I just for some reason loyalty speaks to me. I loyalty, this idea of almost camaraderie, being close with your friends, and it's all about your friends, keeping connected and having strong stones and strong groups.
Uh,
So I don't know, loyalty just really speaks to me. So of course justice is important, but in my mind I don't know where the justice is coming on the go board.
yeah, for me, I prefer justice over loyalty on the go board. If you're too loyal to your groups, you keep care of them too much, eventually you end up dying with them anyway. Might as well give them up. Disloyal, sacrifice it all, and true justice will come. Whoever is more right will win.
I like it. We have two very different ideas or approaches to the virtues. So we'll see which virtue reigns supreme.
Loyalty or justice, Clossius or Itarios, who will move on to the next round and who will be going home. We have a very interesting start here.
Wait, it looks like
This-
this is already more Mirgo. Are we getting treated to another gold? We have a class, a master class on Mirgo today.
yes, it is another game of Mirror Go by Clossius. Last time he had to play Tengen to make it work. When you're white, it's easier to play Mirror Go because you just start mirroring them without wasting a move on Tengen. So there's nothing wrong with the opening so far, except there's a lot wrong. It's Mirror Go, but also they played here.
Yeah, what is this move? I've never seen this move in my life. Bumping to a high approach. Obviously, E17 is the normal move.
Yes. This one, I forget exactly who was the guy who got this Joseki named after him. It was Katani. Katani Minoru was the guy. I was thinking it was Katani. So Katani Minoru was a was Go Seigen's contemporary, and in that time, while they were making the Fuseki Revolution and slowly convincing everybody that 4-4 was just as good as 3-3, Kitani liked to play this Joseki, uh, and nobody else really picked it up. Everyone else thought he was dumb, but he liked to play it, and he was the best or second best player in the world for a good long time. Um, yeah, I also don't particularly like this Joseki because the black shape is pretty hard to make territory with. Basically, Katani liked to play very thick, so to make his shapes be very solid. This one is definitely going to
Loyalty.
be very solid. Yes, yes,
We
loyalty
are seeing the
indeed.
loyalty here. What a virtue of a samurai. So
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
I love that Fuzuki Revolution. It sounds like people were
Fuseki Revolution, the
yeah,
Fuseki, the
Fuseki
the
Revolution.
whole board. Yeah.
What a name for something Go related history. It sounds like wow, something was really going down. Uh,
Yes, it definitely was. Yeah.
Only appropriate we'd see part of the revolution here, where we are samurai and fighting to the death. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in response, Clossius does the most rare response to the Katani Joseki, which is Tenuki, to make another Katani Joseki. Yes.
uh,
Um, I'm confused. Uh, Black chooses to extend up, and White also extends up. To be honest, I don't remember hardly anything about this Joseki and how it's supposed to work, but what continues here, where they Hane. Okay, let's just see this result, right? Let's start with this. Um, to me, I don't like this for White. I don't think it makes very much sense. what you could have done instead of playing like this is, or sorry, not for white. I was looking at a particular corner. I don't like this for the guy on the inside. Although I think maybe Katani did like this for the guy on the inside. The way that I think about it is black could have played here, and let's just look at one corner. If this had happened, black could think about playing here, but we never do that, right? What would happen if this would happen, if it would go like this, is white would bump once, causing there to be a thing, and then just take care of his outside shape. However, black is thick in the corner, but it's small, right? That's why we don't play at 3, and why we pull back is that the corner is small. You can't really attack the white group, so why is your stone there? So
Yeah.
in the game, it's like that happens, except black manages to exchange A for B, which he doesn't get to otherwise. And that exchange, um, you could argue it's a gain for black compared to just doing the initial descend, because black manages to be a bit bigger, white is still kind of attackable, and I could believe it. But I just think that the the descent, the initial descent here, is so crazy that there's no way that just a small gain for black can make it good. Okay, in the live game, there's something crazy going on, which is that black knows that white is playing mirror go and he wants to break it, so he cuts. And white plays Atari, and they run out of ladder
Wait,
in the
what?
live game.
uh,
And this ladder obviously doesn't work for white. So um, yeah,
wait. So, uh, Clossius is really on something today. Really I don't know whether they call it inspired go or they call it uh having fun. It's certainly something, but this to my understanding, my STK level understanding, what I was taught early on was the reason you don't play out a whole ladder is at the very end of it, there's double Ataris all the way across the
yes,
whole thing.
yes,
So right
that's
at any moment you can be double. So it's not like it's even very strong influence, right? You could say maybe visually it looks like white has this huge wall, but it's not even a wall, right?
yeah, yeah. This is not a weight wall. I think a lot of players just learning about ladders for the first time get confused. This is a black wall, and there's a bunch of white deadstones on it. But
Oh
um,
gosh.
yeah, if I literally took all of the weight stones off and played the position like this instead, it would not be that different, to be honest. This is just about how the game looks. Weight has like a little bit better than this, but not very much. Um,
Uh, well, so the only possible explanation then is that Sean misread the ladder, right?
Yes, yes. I think what happened was he got confused about how the I think he got confused about how Mirago works. So when this cut happens, what he wanted to do was make a secondary ladder here, I think, and then to win one of them. But he probably realized after retiring, oh, if I play on the other side, black will ignore me. So that means I have to do it again. Wait, but now black will ignore me. Wait, wait, wait. And then he didn't know what to do at all, and he just did everything. But I mean, maybe this is what he was thinking. Maybe it was some other kind of misread. Maybe he had a misread at the very end of the ladder. Um, yeah, I don't know honestly.
Okay, question. I don't know how familiar you are with the Clossius approach. Is this part of the Clossius approach?
No,
Playing out ladders that don't work.
no, no, no,
Uh,
no, no.
wow. Okay. So yeah, I completely agree with you. It seems like he was trying to be really five head, really smart, and like start some sort of mirror go double ladder thing. But it seems like maybe Colossius, being the one that started the mirror go, has been the one that actually failed the game of mirror go, right?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe he thought that if he like immediately plays here, then black was going to be the one to have a double ladder breaker, because black does have the first move. So usually you expect when ladder shenanigans happen in a mirror go game that black should be able to break the mirror go player somehow. Usually that's what you expect. I mean, in this case, if I were playing, I would be thinking you cut there. That is so small. I'll just keep playing the game. Like I'll just play some other random big move, and then let you have that cut. And because black already invested additional stones there, if they capture the stone there, that's no big deal. Um, and you could just keep playing the game and have a bunch of territory. Yeah. Uh, this game is basically over. I have to say, there's almost nothing that you can do when it comes to
Oh,
this,
okay,
except
yeah, maybe we
this.
can keep.
Hold on,
Wait, we have
they're
another
playing
ladder.
another ladder.
Okay. So, okay, I guess we can see into the future. What happens if we play out this whole ladder? Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So, wait, this is another failed ladder for white.
yeah. He
Well,
ran it
okay.
out again.
So maybe now the game's even more over.
Yeah, now he's realized it. He doesn't want to run out. He doesn't want to run out a second failed ladder, and he's given up.
Okay,
This
we
is
what a silly goofy game. Uh wow, okay, we might actually have to jump into the other game. I mean, this was
yes.
very very amusing, but wow. Uh I mean Clossius is coming out with some interesting ideas today, but sadly, it looks like it's not going to pan out for him.
No, this is yeah. If I had to guess how many handicap stones, like if you could take a certain number of handicap stones, or this position is black, what's the number of handicap stones that you're okay with? What do you think?
Okay, so if I'm black, uh, you're saying like how many stones extra could I give white at this
No,
moment?
no, no. I'm just gonna let you take however many handicap stones that you want, and you can either have that or this position. Like, what's the threshold? Would you take 5 handicap stones over this position, or would you like
Oh,
be
I
like, oh, I want
see.
this position instead?
This position is like about as over as it gets. I mean, it almost feels like 9 stones. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I kind of agree. I guess it was more like 8 stones. 9 stones is really over.
okay.
Something like that. You want to click the score estimator?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It
I
says
will click.
black by 86.1 for me.
Wow. After 79 moves, yeah. uh I mean, gosh. Okay, I guess we'll see, we'll probably have to leave this game. Maybe
Yeah.
Colossius can really cook something up, but yeah, I guess we can jump in the other game.
For
But
the
I like
record, what black is doing is not great. Like he should be playing away from the thickness. Like continuing to play more and more moves next to your ladder wall is not the right way to play it. But I don't think it's winnable, even if Itarios just decides to fall asleep.
yeah,
There's no way.
maybe white can magically fix all the cuts on the wall somehow with a couple magical moves and build a huge moyo is like but even if they white were to do that, there's like almost a moyo on the other side of the wall. So
Yeah,
but that's what he's trying to
there's
do.
no
He's
way.
literally just trying to fix all the cuts.
I mean, black can what black is supposed to do is not pay attention to that area. Black can just throw a stone anywhere on the left side, and as it runs, white will have to pay attention to all his cuts eventually, and then it's over. He just goes on the bottom side. Black is being a bit too conservative here, but that doesn't mean this is going to be a game. It's still over no matter what. So let's go switch to the other game between Sun and uh, and Seminyoon.
Okay. Yeah. Do do do. Okay. I am there.
Okay, these two are playing very fast. uh, they're already 100 moves in, 127 moves in. My goodness, what a round!
Yeah, the losers bracket, not disappointing, or is it? I'm not sure. We're getting it's something. It. Oh my! I take it again. What?
Holy cow!
What is happening in this tournament?
The Loving Sun has gone mad. He chose, by his own free will, respect as the virtue that he would like to represent, and plays Tengen. I don't know who that's respecting, but
If
certainly,
yeah, if I had to guess, he probably won his or yeah lost his first game, and then his downtime just watched Clossius, and maybe he got inspired from Clossius.
That must be what happened, something like that. But if you wanted to play Mirko, you don't have to play Tengen if you're white. Uh, my only regret is that Black did not play the 5/5s like in Hikaru no Go. Yeah, this
Yes.
was a big mistake by Seminyoon to not adequately uh, reenact the anime for us. Okay. We have this position, and the ladder doesn't work because of Tengen, which is
Wow. So
brilliantly planned.
that's a
Yeah,
perfect Joseki choice from The Loving Sun then, right?
absolutely, yes. Actually, it's slightly strange Joseki choice by Seminyoon, to be honest, but it doesn't matter. Okay. We have a double Hane in the upper right, whatever they want to do. Yeah, Sun has decided to take Tengen and then literally take all the 3/3s and take a 5. Like, I have no idea what he's on,
Oh
but
my goodness.
prioritizing 3/3 over open corner is something. And then he pushes here, and Seminyoon is just like, I can come in here, you know? And Sun decides to build a Moyo. Yeah, as I said, he likes to get all the territory and then build a Moyo. that's
Yeah, we
that's the
saw
Sun
this in
game.
his first game too, right?
Yeah, yeah. Here it is. Here's the Moyo. Seminyoon's like, that's not that big. Sun is like, I'll kill you.
At least he's trying to make use of the Tengen Stone in a clear way.
Sun took white, and Seminyoon is black. We have it reversed on the overlay. But yeah, Sun is white, Seminyoon is black. And yeah, Sun goes for a cut, or Seminyoon, sorry, Seminyoon goes for a cut, but the ladder does not work. So this is a bad Joseki or bad variation for black. He should not have cut here
Right, he's
because
breaking in the
white could
Moyo a
just go.
little bit, but not enough, right? Just extending all those times is like,
Yeah,
what
when
are you
you
really
cut,
reducing?
exactly. When you cut, what you're trying to do is put pressure on something. In this case, after the cut, black flopped over dead. So that was not pressure. That nothing happened. Instead of doing that, he could have played any old open move here, and it would be better. Just like here, 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 whatever.
Right, and
And
does that activate the Aji of the H11 stone at all? Because
yeah,
yeah,
you can look to save it from the other side, and if White would really try to capture it and play his moves here, then you could look to save it again from this side. And the threat to capture a stone, like a single stone like this, is not serious as long as you're willing to give it up. Like, you can never lose if your opponent tries to capture one stone and you just give it up. That never loses the game. But you can lose the game if you try to save it and then die. In this case, White has made a serious advantage on the top side, and Black's effort to look to save these stones is not as important anymore because they're already so weak. Okay, Sun answered anyway, but anyway, this is still good for White. It wasn't even necessary for him to do like this or this. This is a little suspicious. Yeah. What Sun should have done, theoretically, is allowed Black to gesture towards this area and just take the parts which are important. So to me, what's important now is control in there. So I will try to jump, keep the pressure on, and if they back off, then I want to control here. I don't need the control there. So if Black tries to walk in, this is good enough. Black still has a very, very hard time saving those two stones inside.
and how big is? Oh, I see. Saving the two stones would be a cut on that group.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
uh there's nothing that he can really do about it. So this is a little bit overactive defending. Seminyoon is very sharp to find this move. This is the vital point of the large knight to cut it where the small knight would be. If Sun was thick here, that move would be there. So you call him out for it. You're like, you should have that stone. And it's difficult for Sun to cut without becoming split shape. If he tries cutting this way, there's a move over here, and then there's a potential double Atari. And cutting this way, the shape in the center is still split, so he just falls back. But that lets Seminyoon also split in the side over here. If Seminyoon would just continue, I don't know, like this, something like that.
Ah, yeah. Now he's starting to build the right side.
Yeah, this is successful, even though Black donated some points over here. It's still successful to get that much on the right side.
Yeah. So I have a quick question. So
Yeah.
earlier, when after Black played their initial move, in the Moyo, you're saying they should have followed up like on the right side, which he ends up doing later, but this exchange that you're playing out was made first. So what's the difference between this exchange being played first and then him coming on the right side versus him just going to the right side?
If you just go on the right side, then let's say we do the exact same thing like this.
Right.
Yeah, the exact same thing.
Mhm.
Then now, you would not try to save because it's very obvious that you will die. So you just don't do that. And instead you do some other thing which does not die directly. And you can see, because I don't have to commit harder to that stone, I can get more, right?
Ah, okay,
Um,
okay.
so every time that you try to play with a stone and then die with it, you're paying to your opponent. You're feeding them. You're making them larger. So you do not want to add more stones to something which you are planning to die with. You
Ah.
should play away, and only once you think you can save it can you play there again.
Yeah, see, this really speaks to me as a SDK because this type of variation that was played in the game is something that often happens in my games where I kind of like sacrifice 2 stones to push in the Moyo a little bit and reduce just a little bit, and it doesn't feel very
Mhm.
good.
Yes,
So it's insight. The new insight is, oh, just play on, like, sometimes you can just play a different entry point of the Moyo and leave it. So I like
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, in the game, um, Black continued to try to reduce the white Moyo on the top side, and then played on the left, attacking white a little bit. That group will live, and Black played here, thinking he could really seriously attack white. I guess he's thinking that his Hane in the center is like very strong and makes him able to put a lot of pressure. Um, if it were me as white here, I will be pushing first and really forcing black to be low in that area. Um, if something like this happens, I want to save my white group not by playing C1, but somehow in the center. Eventually, I want to cut black off. So if black saves, this is my variation. Um,
Yeah, and now
if I capture that, or then that, better.
yeah, now how stupid do those 4 stones look that were reducing into the Moyo, trying to save the 1 stone? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So this was a little bit passive by Sun to only play at C1, and that's why this is too much for Seminyoon. If you can play this and really get C1, then it's a good move. You should get more benefit on the outside if you can. But because it was not really necessary, and Wei could continue to fight on the outside, this move actually just sort of like loses control. It obligates Black to continue to put pressure on, but Sun just lets him go with it, and Black gets a quick move to the right side. Um, I find it very interesting that they refuse to block here or do anything over here. In my opinion, it's the biggest by a lot to do this. Um,
Right, because of the potential of the right side, but it also pressures it. It's a liberty shortage on those 4 stones. But
Exactly.
yeah,
There's territory here, but also those stones will either become influence or a weak group depending on who plays there first. So I would really rather see a move like this, or even this one from Seminyoon than his move here. This one, it may look like it outlines more territory, but when White plays here, you can imagine White becoming very powerful in the center, and any invasion here will just be much more strong than if it had been like this. Although this looks to outline less territory. Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, well, if my opponent's not playing there and I'm not playing there, maybe they won't play there, and I can get away with more just playing where I want.
Maybe something like that. It's scam mentality. Yeah. Um, Sun is thinking. So here's Sun's go, right? He goes, invades all the corners, then tries to make a Moyo. If he gets the Moyo, he assumes he got so many points, he'll win the game. So he just tries to do nothing for the rest of the game. I don't believe that he's won the game yet, but
Ah, so you think
he
this
seems to
is
believe
rather
so.
close, or at
Yeah, I
least
think this is still close. I can click the AI estimation. It says white by 6 points right now.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Sun probably believes he is leading, so he's just going to try to be extremely defensive with all of his groups from now on, and that
Which
allows
is
Seminyoon.
dangerous.
Yeah, that allows Seminyoon to take some territory on the right. He finally gets to this point though, so I like that. Um, Black plays the Atari in the block here, and you can see This shape is so much worse for black than if black had spent a first move. Now they have a cut still. They still have more cuts there. The whole group is under pressure, and the right side will never easily be his. Yeah, Sun just jumps down. That was actually not necessary and a little bit too passive, I think, to jump down like that. Definitely, I would prefer to Hane to create more cuts and more liberty pressure there. And there's no way that you can be afraid of this cut because there is a liberty shortage in the corner. You see, that's Atari, and
Ah,
I capture.
yeah. I mean, I've lost many a game thinking I was winning by a lot and started to play too passively. So,
Mm,
is like R13 maybe just these little moves? Who
yeah, yeah,
knows?
I
Could
think
be
it's exactly like
Sun's
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, black plays another push and leaves. I don't think that push really meant anything. I don't know what it meant at least. And then he plays the peep here, asking Sun whether he cares about his cutting point. Um, and Sun says he does care, which is a little bit suspicious. Black could now block on the right if he wanted, but first he will take initiative on the bottom side, which is correct, I believe. Um, and Sun suddenly makes a ko to defend himself. You see, because Sun played this like thin shape earlier, looking to defend. He never actually outlined himself a clear base, and he should have done that as well, rather than S14. The reason why I'm saying you don't need to defend here is because now, excuse me, you can block like this, or you could even block the other way. But blocking like this, black cannot cut at this point. There's a liberty shortage, so it would be good enough for white to allow this kind of black cut and play here. Sun, hello, hello. Thank you
Yeah.
for the raid.
Thank you for the raid. I guess we the game must have ended. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see what happens.
we are still watching in the middle game. You are getting in trouble with your bottom side group right now. Seminyoon has created a ko, but he does not capture the ko. He opts to extend here. You got cleaned up. Oh no.
Spoilers.
Oh dear. So Seminyoon has extended up here, putting more pressure on the white group. Yeah. Wait can try to live with his ko. He makes the ko bigger. I feel like this leads into Seminyoon's plan somehow. Wei has a couple co-threats, but black has some co-threats as well. This one I would be extremely suspicious of if it were in my game. Is that really a co-threat? I cannot connect here. Usually when you connect, after your opponent plays a move at L2, it's worth like more than just one move because that L2 stone is also completely wasted. And here I really like the black shape. If white plays in this area, black could just connect like this.
Ah, yeah, double
And
Atari.
if white played here, then black could do this. Um, I guess Seminyoon probably thought if he has to play this way, then white would be able to take initiative on his group there, and he wanted even more. So he wanted to take the right side, keep an overall attack going, but Sun decided to save his group then. He thought that this was not big enough, what Seminyoon did in the center. And because he has a double Fanuki, although Seminyoon can attack a little bit the 3 stones in the center for white, Sun is correct that black should basically not be able to get anything done here.
Wow.
Um,
It's actually kind of funny that, for a while we were talking about in the early game that those two stones were very bad for black, and that it was not likely black would ever connect to them. But we actually did get to a point where now black cut white and
yes,
connected.
with a co-threat and another move, yes. The co-threat, the follow-up, and one more move, he managed to do it. There's no way we have a message in the chat that Clossius is pulling a potential miracle, which I just flatly don't believe, even though it comes from a trusted source. I don't believe you. There's no way. Um, yeah. Okay, after Black saved his 2 stones, Sun decided to just make his top side thick. Uh, he's defended his cutting points there. There was some chance that black could cut here, try to pressure these stones, and then try to cut these off. So Sun decided to defend that first, which I think is a good decision. But black manages to get the first move attacking those 3 stones, and he does it by expanding as much as he can, and Sun just jumps right the heck in, which seems very, very naive. Of course, black will play on the other side, and then how the heck can you do anything here
Ah,
as white?
so for at this point, I feel like if I were playing, I'd be looking at those three stones at like h10 and whatnot, and thinking about the Aji of them. It looks hard maybe to save them, but
Yeah.
uh, it seems like maybe K5 in my mind is trying to, I don't know, it's looking at the cut, right? At L4, but it's trying to
Yes.
use the Aji of those three stones. But maybe is there a better move if you wanted to use the Aji of those three stones, if that's too
So
deep?
here's the thing you have to think about when you're using Aji is um, am I actually supposed to be able to do this, whatever you think you're doing, right? So of course we want to use the Aji and we want to like approach them, but you can only do so in ways which the fight should actually be able to be playable for you. And I think Sun forgot about that part when he played here. He knew he wanted to do something in this area, and this is the weak area, and that's the shape point, right? And that's enough to be like, oh, I'm confident. This must be a fine move. But you have to think after that. Okay, what kind of fight am I playing? Right? Like, what am I doing?
That's very funny. Because it's, as Go players, we're like, ooh, peep the cut. But you're totally right. It's like, is the fight even good after that?
Yeah,
Uh,
so here, I mean, every black player knows what the hell is this guy doing? This is my box. You're dead, son. And every black player plays like Seminyoon. And then if white didn't have a plan, then this is just foolish. So instead of doing like this, it's still good to approach the Aji, but you should do it in a way which allows you to clearly know what your plan is to do to like do after. So if it were me playing, I want to play here, and then if my opponent will cut me even with that, then I think I have some decent plans. Like maybe I'll try to reattack on the other side, or I'll use this cut, or maybe I'll be able to make a life here. But I think I would like generally know what I was doing. With this one, afterwards you just make the game extremely difficult on yourself. So afterwards he tries to link up here, but doesn't ask about whether it can actually be possible. And of course it isn't. So yeah, he can only get a tiger's mouth and sente. Seminyoon shows that that's not actually an eye. And white tries to cut in this area. So maybe it's possible that this cut can swing the game back in white's favor if he can properly like put pressure to try to capture either those two stones or these five stones. Black does become a little thin here, so white tries with the attach, but he couldn't cut, and he couldn't figure out how to put pressure on the other stones, so he eventually just forces them to connect.
ooh.
I can't say I approve of this method, because we also lost the possibility to use this area. When we just took a very thick shape here, of course white shape is like the most connected in solid, but that doesn't matter when you're dead, right? So instead, I want to try to combine with that A stone right now. I'm thinking to play like maybe this move first. I understand it still doesn't exactly work because there's something here, but maybe with that I have enough that I can try to make a net over here. And any way that they play in this area, I have Sente to cut here. I'm gonna like try to do something. It still doesn't work because of
Yeah.
Black's push, but
Well, it
I
feels
have to
like,
combine
yeah.
somehow.
It feels like white almost has something, but I think you're totally right to move at three, because if black gets to play there first, that Atari is just devastating. Or like black gets out, right? Easily, just with one move.
Yeah.
So
So this way, after that, white has to run like this, but black, yeah, black just Atari saves his stone. White has to continue running. Black keeps his shape super strong, knowing that he can run out after this. Like black knew when he played this, he read white connects, I diagonal, white can't surround me. GG is over, and that was correct. That was well done by Seminyoon. And yeah, the loving sun now is just desperation cutting everywhere and hoping to make something crazy happen, but it isn't happening anytime soon, and Sun resigns.
yeah, it's interesting that it seems like the Loving Sun in the early middle game had a lead, right? And then he
Yes.
started to maybe play a little passively. But even despite maybe playing a little passively, he still sort of gets cut and has some weak groups. So, and I feel like the maybe underlying thing that led to this problem in my mind, maybe this, whatever, I'm missing something here, is after, if you go forward a bit, after he attaches a key form, yeah, right here, is that in my mind, my go mind's just like, I need an extension from the 0304 stones to the left. And so I feel like if he had an extension there, I don't know, maybe there's no moment to find that move, but obviously this is where the pressure comes from in the end. A lot of the
I mean, you
weakness.
could just take it now if you want. If
Right.
you
I
like.
feel like, right, in this position, we already saw that white was up by like 6 or something or whatever. I feel like maybe this move would have been easier for whites. I don't know.
In my opinion, it was less about like the method of his defending. Like it's okay to try to go defensive, but why, once you're winning the game, must you play to start losing the game? Why can't you just try to win more? That's my thought on it. So why not play here, try to keep pressure on, and it can't be that hard. Anyway, Prince Lena asked a good question. Let's go back to Clossius game versus Itarios, where Itarios completely won the game, but it seems he's wasted a few moves and started dying. Let's let's hop back in
It would be
to
great a
that
comeback
review.
of the century if.
There's literally no way. I do not believe, even though Black died there, even if that whole thing is dead, I do not believe that Black can lose. Like, Clossius resigned? Is that the news I've just gotten? Oh dear. So there was not just one very bad ladder, Princina, but even a second very bad ladder here. Which, wait, misread again. That was unfortunate. But after that, Black showed that he did not exactly know how to use this, which is understandable because this never happens. Um, Most of the time, we do not actually have broken ladders in our games, so many players do not know that the correct way to use it is to play away from it forever and ever and ever, and just allow it to be strong in thickness there. Um, yes, Prince Lena says never happens in chat, which is funny. Okay, so um, after that, Atarios played the connection here, which is trying to keep pressure on that top white group, and white played Atari. Black answered over here a couple times, which are all uh, not necessary. Black should continue to just like throw a group on the left side, throw a group on the bottom side, whatever. Um, and then he even cut here, which is exactly what we don't want to do. You know, as I said, this situation, it more resembles the black stick being there and all the white stones being dead than the other way around, right? And this one is just putting a stone, in that case, right on top of your wall. We would never do that, right? Um, so it's much too passive, and Clossius gets a chance to grow something on the bottom side. Black spends a move defensively there, which is fine, but it spends another pass move here. So to me, this is just completely passing for Black. There's no
Well,
difference.
yeah, I mean, maybe to be fair, it's kind of interesting. I've certainly never played any game with like early on in the game where a whole ladder's played out. You know, it's
Mm.
almost like conceptually it happens almost never. So I think it's sort of understandable maybe if Tarios here doesn't understand the conceptual aspect of how to play with a whole ladder played out on the board, right?
Yes, he will know after this game, but
Yeah.
before now, this how are you supposed to know? Yeah. Um, Black continues playing from his middle, and Clossius is doing it right, continuing to take the territory. But Black finally jumps in deeply. This is good, but White will start to attack. Since White has so many stones, so many free stones over here and here, the attack is a little bit more powerful than usual, but still should be easy enough to defend if you're cautious. White cuts, okay. Um, and Black plays what looks to be a ladder that doesn't work. So if I were White, I would definitely run it out. I think in this case it's on purpose though. I
Yeah.
believe.
How many ladders are we going to see today that don't work?
Yes, yes. I believe in this case, what they were thinking was that the variation like this is a broken ladder, which is okay for Black because this white area is pretty small and Black will be able to save over here. If White plays Atari now, then Black has some option to run to the corner and make a big enough base on the side, however it would happen. Um, so understandable by Clausius to be like, yeah, even if I can kill the two stones there, it wouldn't be big enough. Let me try to make chicken bigger. You know, kill the whole thing, not just a little bit. And what Black should have done to try to save it is play here, in my opinion. This one, Wait will still have to respond somehow in this area, but Black is much thicker with this variation. It means that Black can play to this side somehow, use the cuts over there, can run this way, and as long as we stay active and use our opponent's cuts in this kind of variation, um, it will never have to come to pass the fact that we have no eyes. Like White will be too thin.
Yeah, and like we said, after the failed ladder, Black was winning. You said like 80 points or something.
Yes.
The last thing Black wants to do is give a win condition for White, which is like allowing white to actually try to kill a group, right? So I completely agree. Black should just keep it as simple as possible and live in the simplest way, even if it's slow, whatever, to capture the stone,
Yes,
right? Just capture the stone. You're winning, right? By a ton. Just keep it simple.
absolutely. Another thing he could have done is at this moment try to threaten to live in the corner, and then force wait. However, yeah, Priscina's right. Black was winning by 80 points, and then he played a few passes in the center, so he's probably winning by less now. But anyway, if you play like this, then you can start to see that ladders start to work for you. So if it would go like that in the corner, and white would really try to kill the corner, if the variation goes the same way, then you can see here eventually um, that ladder is just directly working. So it's much easier to try to save this kind of group when you have the extra help on the outside as well. At this point, it's like too late to invade the corner, because now white will let you live and kill the whole thing in the center, and it's like a lot, right? So black had to play, or felt that he had to play in the center, and he let white keep and actually break his eye to be able to run here. So if you do that, that means you're committed to the side. You cannot save that stone, but he saved them. At this point, black needed to play here and like really actually commit to showing that the stones on the bottom side were like weak for white, and that black could make some space here. That's the meaning of the initial jump. It can't be done to then save the 3 stones after we ignore them one time. It gives white the first move. Yeah, this is now black shape is much smaller here because white had 1 move reducing it, and it's going to be really hard to live. As I was saying earlier, though, even though black this whole thing dies, I still think that black should win.
Okay. So yeah, it's interesting. I guess Prince Alina saying that black was never winning by 80, 50, I guess whatever, like still a ton. You're saying, so you think even if black dies here, black's still winning. Or sorry, yeah, black, if black dies here, black's still winning.
Yeah. So Paige points out that white messed up by not blocking here. If white would block here, then this whole inside black should be dead, because this cut like that leaves an Atari where white could cut back off the bottom side, and there's no way for black here to just make one eye in Sente in the middle. Even if he tries like this, it looks like it's Sente for 2 eyes, but when white connects, white also has a threat to break the remaining eye. So even though black takes his one eye there, this one is broken. And hang on a second. If black plays here, it's alive though. I was not reading that correctly. So it would still be possible, I think, if it goes this way, for black to live if he does this variation. Maybe white could exchange at some point. No, you can't exchange. If he does this way, then black could live, and that would also be good enough. But connect here to stop that is like too much, where white is now fighting against that whole big black wall. So it's going to be a liberty race against the corner, the black group in the corner and the white group on the side. Excuse me. But you can see white had to spend another move in the center because the wall here was just way too powerful. When black has the first move on the side, he should win the liberty race for sure. And he has an eye. He ends up answering over there. I would not answer over there. I will just start taking the liberties, and then it's very obvious, right, that the king is over. Um, Instead, we have the position like this right now. Black can take his eye, and he will show that this white group does not have enough outside liberties to capture black. Definitely true. I
So,
missed the g5. Oh dear,
wait,
did I
is that
miss
the live?
a
That's
move?
the live position.
I missed a move here. How can I miss a move? Oh, I missed this move. This is what Paige was telling me about. Yeah, I missed this move. Whoops. I was not reading carefully. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Yeah, but the live position is here where white is dead.
Yeah, I will say I know Itarios came to Columbus for a month, and the man loves Sumigo. He does it every day, all day, and he loves to create like complications in games where he like just barely wins or barely lives or creates liberty races and things like this. This is absolutely Atarios's style of Go. He can't help but make it as complicated as possible is what he's even told me. And it's kind of interesting, like you were saying, like out of the opening after this failed ladder, winning by 50 points probably could go to an easy victory. Just, I mean, I guess he's still going to win here, but probably just, just play away from the wall and whatnot. But like like, it's one of those things. It's like, no, I must make it complicated. So
Yes.
staying true to form here.
Yeah, if black actually died, so Paige is talking about if black actually died, which could have happened if it went this way. I had a misreading, but um, yeah, it's true that if it goes like this, that black group is properly dead, and black cannot strike back against this area. So coming back to here, if it were this position, this is all white territory. That's white territory, and white needs to hope to survive there. Black still has a lead, I'm pretty sure, because it's that much. Right? This is I'm trying to surround a black territory, but my pen doesn't go off the board, you know? So at this moment, it's like can black kill the upper right now? Because black has Sente after white kills the bottom left. Black could try to kill the upper right. If you play like this, white is not alive locally, has to run there, and this is black's like giga thickness. So entirely possible that we can try to kill that, but it would be it would be a fight. There would be some chance that white manages to squirm around and make an eye in this area. Um, Even if that would happen, though, I think black would get this much territory for sure, that much territory for sure. I don't think white can match it. Although if white lives and like squirms, and if black like overcommits, maybe, maybe it could happen.
Well, I mean,
I
white
mean,
wouldn't be able to match the territory, but it's also the captures, though, right? This is assuming that white had killed black.
yeah, yeah. So, including counting the captures of how big this is, it's actually not that big. If black were all dead, um, it's it's very big. Don't get me wrong, but this was extraordinarily big, and
Okay.
yeah, I guess if the entire bottom left was white's territory, that would be what, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, maybe 60 points. And then with this, we can make it like 70 with Comey, and Optimism, we can make it 80. Um, but yeah, black should match that. Even though I'm optimistic as
Wow.
heck.
Yeah, my go brain is just like, this is once again with the assumption that black got captured here. It's just like, oh, so many captures, it must be too much. But
Yes. Yeah.
man, I need to be able to visualize the actual truth, which is, I think, what's distorting the truth to me is just the line of white stones on the other side of the wall that are just all
Ah,
dead, all dead.
yes.
Like to me, it seems like somehow those stones have power, but they're like literally, to your point, you could just like take them away and it would basically be the same. So I
Yeah.
think that's what's distorting my visual part of my brain, thinking like, oh, so many captures, but I can't see the power of black's territory. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's these are definitely some crazy samurai games. I gotta give some props to the players. Um, the okay, the winners in terms of virtues. Um, this game, Itarios with justice prevailed over Clossius's loyalty. Yeah, Clossius was a bit too loyal to the latter, to be fair. And I would definitely say that justice prevailed in this game, although it almost didn't. Justice, yeah,
I feel like just having the tournament be samurai themed has literally gotten into the player's psychology. Like,
must. It must, it must. Oh, and then in the other game between Seminyoon and the Loving Sun, where Seminyoon's honor trumped Sun's respect. Yeah, Sun. Yeah, in that game he just sort of ended up dying, right? Sun tried very hard to be honorable, and eventually could not help but kill himself. So I guess that means that Seminyoon's true honor prevailed in the end.
so yeah, for our final matchups today, chat, you should be able to see this in a moment. We're gonna have Chezuri. Sorry, gosh, I feel like I mispronounced his name. Chezuri. Let's just call him B. We got
Cheshire.
B.
Cheshire B.
Cheshire B versus Paige, which should be a dynamite game, and Tong Jae versus Eric Yoder, a classic rivalry of friends.